"Finally, you're out of my life," she said. "The company is mine now. My name is Silas Ward, and that's what my wife said as the judge handed down my sentence. 5 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit." She clapped in open court. I didn't turn to look at her, didn't give her the satisfaction, but I saw the smirk on her reflection in the courtroom glass, small, smug, polished. They said I embezzled funds from my own company, that I falsified ledgers, funneled money offshore. The paper trail was perfect. Too perfect because I didn't make it. She did. The officer came forward with the cuffs. "Hands," he said like I was a nuisance. As he pulled my arms behind my back, I leaned toward my lawyer and slipped him a folded note I'd kept tucked in my palm since the trial began. No one saw, not even her. Inside it read, "Find Michael Carter immediately. Tell him his only son has been imprisoned on false charges. My wife has no idea who my real father is. She thought I was done. She thought she knew who she married. She thought this was over, but she never asked where I came from. She never thought I'd dubious." I stood. "Thank you for coming." He looked at me for a long beat. "Your mother would have wanted me to." Then he pulled out a thick folder. "This is everything on her," he said. "Her aliases, her movement of funds, offshore accounts she didn't know I could trace." "She thinks she's a genius," I said. Michael just smiled. "She's clever, but she's never played with people who build empires." My hands tightened into fists. "She left me to rot," I said. "No," he corrected gently. "She gave you a controlled environment. Now, let's turn it into a war room." We started slow. Quiet. Michael's people didn't crash through doors. They infiltrated. First, we targeted the financials. Not by hacking, but by precision. Her accounts were protected, yes, but her ego wasn't. She had started siphoning off company funds into a private consulting firm under her maiden name. Michael bought the firm anonymously. By the time she realized someone was shadowing her transfers, her safe zone was ours. Then came the employees. She fired everyone low ex-staffer, told my lawyer. Foreign buyer. Aggressive timeline. I clenched my jaw. She was planning to gut the company and vanish. Michael's voice was steady on the phone. "We let her get to the table, but we choose the buyer." Meanwhile, inside prison, I stayed quiet. Routine. Respectful. I played the part she wrote for me until the warden handed me a letter one morning. No return address, just a sentence in her handwriting. "I'm sorry it had to be this way." I read it twice, then smiled slowly. She thinks the ending's already written. 2 months later, a bidding war broke out, exactly as Michael planned. My wife thought she was orchestrating the deal of the decade, selling our company to a Chinese tech firm for nearly double its value. She was already on magazine covers, labeled a visionary under pressure. She didn't realize that both top bidders were fronts, shell firms backed by Carter Holdings. She wasn't selling the company. She was selling it back to me. She set the meeting for Thursday. My lawyer said during our weekly visit downtown, full boardroom, the final sign-off, and she doesn't know. I asked. He shook his head. "Your name won't show until the final page. You'll be in that room. But to her, you're just the buyer's legal advisor." I nodded once. Inside, I practiced control. I focused on every breath, every moment. I wouldn't be walking into that boardroom to scream or accuse. I was walking in to watch her hand me everything legally. And then the night before the meeting, a guard passed me a new envelope. This one wasn't hers. Inside was a photo, was someone I recognized instantly. My co-founder, the one I trusted like a brother. It hit me like a silent detonation. The photo wasn't blurry or accidental. It was crisp, clear, her hand on his chest, both of them smiling intimately, like they hadn't just shared betrayal, but had built it together, glass-walled high above the city. Morning sun reflected off steel and marble. I arrived first in a tailored navy suit, quiet, forgettable, just another legal rep for the acquiring firm. She walked in 10 minutes later, radiant in white, confident, fake, humble. Behind her, he followed my former partner, laughing at something. She whispered. His hand grazed the small of her back like he owned what I built. They didn't even glance at me. The buyer's team was already seated. All Carter's people. Ivy League faces, passive smiles, diamond pens. They opened the packet slowly. Pages flipped. The terms were generous. Excessively so. She grinned. Almost feels criminal, she joked. The lead counsel nodded. One signature left. Final page. She grabbed the pen, paused dramatically. Then she saw it. My name's Silas Ward, she said aloud, confused. Why is his name here? Her partner leaned over, scanning. His face drained. Then I spoke calm, steady. You just sold your controlling stake to me. The room froze. I didn't come back to accuse you, I continued. I came back to own what you tried to steal. And then I looked him in the eyes. Both of you. She stood there, fingers frozen around the pen. He was already sweating. The legal team said nothing, just observed. Carter's people were professionals. They didn't flinch. You can't do this, she finally said, voice shaking. This is fraud. You lied. No, I replied quietly. You just didn't ask the right questions. I slid a document across the table, a quiet thud. A timeline of her financial movements, the offshore accounts, the wire transfers to my co-founder's consulting shell. And you, I said, turning to him. You used proprietary software to mask those transactions. The system we built together. His mouth opened. Close. This isn't an ambush, I said. It's a return on inventorized signatures. Her voice cracked. You set this up. I didn't deny it. I just looked at them both and said, I set nothing up. I simply waited. You gave me 5 years to study the system you built to destroy me. Security escorted them out, not forcibly, just enough pressure to remind them they weren't in control anymore. They didn't speak. They didn't have to. They knew. This time silence was my signature.